Right. Okay. Everybody can see this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Welcome to social media session or class on social media. Although I'm not an authority to tell you what is the best thing to do, what I'm going to share with you is a 1.5 years of research that I've done in this field, and also something that I am adapting to my business, which is a coaching business. So I'm sure a lot of you know what the symbols are, what social media basically is. But what I'm going to share with you today are simple things like what are the global statistics on social media, why or how is coaching being leveraged by people, coaches, renowned coaches, celebrity coaches on social media, platforms, what are they used for, how can you strategize, and what is the kind of message you can create. And of course, I'll also share with you the strat plan, which I used, which is working pretty well for me. So you can use the same thing or you can modify as per how you need it. All right. So shall we start? Is there anything that you want me to add further? You can let me know. I also have an option of showing you a demo in case if you want me to show you any demo, I can do that. So I also have that ready with me. So let's get started. Okay. So most important, these are 2010 to 2021 statistics and social media users. So you can see this is in billions. 2018, we are at 2.62, which is the estimated figures. And last year, we were at 2.46 billion users on social media networks. So clearly, you can't ignore this. This is a huge group that is there, and that is what all the existing coaches in the industry are focusing on. Second statistics I can say is the projected, country-wise figures. China, of course, because of the virtue of having the highest number of highest population there, and India is the second highest, but it's huge, right? So we are looking at 196 million people on social media as of 2017 and 370 million to reach by 2022. So this is a India figure. This is the countrywide estimate. Now I know Nadine and Martin would be interested in what's the numbers in UK, and that's why I had to go straight down. 39 million in currently million users on social media, and 42 projected for 2022. So this is on the rise. So this is the right time for you to create a plan around how you can leverage this into your coaching business. This particular is a stat for the users in million in India, and current and projected. So you can see the number of users in millions and the upward growth. So 226 million users in 2018 to 370. Again, this is year-wise estimate. So you can, no matter what is going to happen, whether Facebook is there, not there, something else will come in, it is going to go, because internet is the way forward. Social media is the way forward. And this is what every single analyst company is projecting. That is why more and more people are coming out and creating strategies around in the social media space. This is another very interesting statistics. Top social networking sites as of Jan 2018. So it's just a few months old, 2 months old. And you can see most of us are comfortable in LinkedIn. Most of the people are comfortable in LinkedIn, at least on this group, at least I can see. But if you compare it with the number of users in other areas, Facebook is leading. YouTube is the second best. Amazing thing is that you have WhatsApp, which is also it's the third largest network sites, although it is not considered to be a social media network, but there's a lot of communication that is happening. There's a lot of coaching. In fact, happening on WhatsApp, which is something that we can look at when you're creating a strategy. And of course, Facebook Messenger. So there's a popular term, GAFA economics or GAFAnomics. I'm not sure if you guys heard it. Has anyone heard it? What is GAFAnomics? No?
Nope. No.
Okay. GAFAnomics is basically anytime. So this is like
anytime?
Completely, yeah, please ask me questions anytime. There is nothing will disturb. This is supposed to be interactive. So please ask me questions whenever you get a question. So
okay, I have two questions, but you finish this and then I'll come to that.
Sure. So GAFAnomics is basically Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. And how these 4 companies are absolutely disrupting the digital economy. So there are specific papers that have been published. You can actually just Google GAFA or GAFA economy, GAFAnomics. You'll get a lot of white papers. And they are disrupting the market. And clearly you can see why, because Facebook is leading. No matter, a lot of people come and say that Facebook is not for me. Facebook is not the place to be. It's all, what do you say? It's only sharing where you are and sharing your friends or your images, or you're just being connected to your relation. But Facebook, even business, Facebook for business is huge. And that is some place that you should and must look at leveraging that aspect. And another important thing is that increasingly the people who are on Facebook are not your millennia. Millennia is now going to Snapchats. They're going to to other, mostly Snapchat. They're going to, there are multiple, not even Skype. You have Periscope, for example. They're going towards Periscope. They're going towards Snapchat, because that is some place where they don't find their parents, they don't find their uncles, aunties, or somebody to recognize them. But Facebook now is increasingly even for the elderly. So you have like a cross-section people who are on Facebook, right? LinkedIn is 260 million. Twitter is 330 million users. It's by no means is small, but still you are looking at 2.167 or 2,167 million users on Facebook, which is not to be missed. Same thing is with YouTube. And this is very, very crucial. Now, another thing is that, okay, I'll probably come back to you on that, but Arvind, you can ask me the question.
Yeah, thanks, Aparna. 2 slides before, you had actually shown China and India, and what I saw was the percentage for China to get into this seems to be, they're already there, and they're in the pace that they're actually moving to 2022 seems to be a little slower than India. There is a big jump that I actually saw in the graph.
Yes. Now,
would you happen to know what was the
probability may be, I'm not sure, Arvind, I've not looked at why the numbers are less, but I've seen a couple of reports that maybe Facebook will ultimately crack China. Not Facebook. I think there are a lot of, like, WhatsApp is not on China. You have WeChat there. WeChat is higher there, right? So,
right.
And also like your Tiba and your, the Qzone, all these are not something that we are familiar with. They're all Chinese products. So I'm not really sure why it is dwindling. Maybe they have come up with what do you say, stricter policies. Maybe they're expecting China to implement even more stricter policies. I don't know.
Okay.
Or maybe they'll get lenient. So I'm not sure about that. But maybe we can look it up. I can look up and
sure. Thanks. That was interesting to see those numbers just do a big jump for India and a gradual change.
Go back to that slide. Do you want
no, it's okay. It's okay. I just had that question. Second question, I forgot. I'll come back.
The other thing, if I can comment, just add a comment for India, Arvind, there. In India, the penetration of internet and the mobile media device and internet has increased quite a bit over the last few years, with Jio coming in and stuff. That could also be the reason for India to quickly pick up the numbers from where it is to a higher number.
Okay, but I thought that was equally happening in all continents. But yeah, I get your point, Abhilasha.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions on this? We are here. Yes. Any other questions on this?
What do the asterisks indicate?
Projected. Here, these are projected figures.
Okay.
So Tumblr, I'm not sure if you guys know what Tumblr is. Are you aware?
It's a blogging site, right?
Yeah, microblogging site. It's a microblogging site where you have it's like a little bit cross between your Instagram and Twitter. So you can actually you can use it for short text messages. So it's microblogging site, and you can use images and videos. There's also Reddit, which I have not included in this, but there's like limitless. So it's not just. Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
So these are the users in India, 2015 to 2022 in million. This I've already seen, right? Okay. So I don't know what happened. Right. So coming down to Facebook, I know there is, we all detest it. A lot of us detest it, but it's just going up. The statistics, this is Jan 2018, and we are like 250 million people on Facebook. What is interesting is like I've already actually covered that. What is interesting is that you don't have just kids on it. You have your uncles, aunties on it. You have your grandparents' age group on it. So it's basically, I don't have the statistics where I can show you the age group of people on it, but definitely it is from 25 to I think around 70. That is the cross section of society who are on that Facebook. What is important, or why it is important that you consider Facebook in your plan, is because you're really missing out, especially if you want to get into a coaching for this kind of an audience. You're actually missing it, like your life coaching or your personal coaching. If you want to get into that area, also there are a lot of couples who are on Facebook, so I know it is a little superficial when they wish each other on Facebook and all that jazz, but end of the day, if there is a messaging that is created specifically to target these this community, I think you can absolutely leverage that in your business. So Facebook I feel it is important for you to look at. Emerging trendsetter.
Can I just say something? I don't know whether the controversy has reached India this week.
Yes.
But Zuckerberg has been summoned to the Commons Select Committee, and a company called Cambridge Analytics has been farming all of the data, and it apparently was used to influence Trump's election campaign. And I suppose what's clouding, I can see needing to be selective being part of a strategy. I currently, there is a big campaign to encourage people to deactivate Facebook. And I don't know what kind of following that'll have in the UK, but issue around Facebook currently, the figures are absolutely compelling, but I suppose my lack of knowledge on how to use it effectively is probably, I'd have to balance that with the controversy surrounding the way in which Facebook behave, because effectively what they're doing is they're not being open and honest about how they use all of our data and where they make all of those links. So if you and I go on, it'll take your aunties and uncles and grandparents as well as my data, and it'll farm it all, or that's what they're suggesting it does. And that's kind of clouding my current thinking about, I can see all the numbers are compelling, but I'm more aligned to something like WhatsApp, where you're inviting people in. Maybe you can be more selective. I don't know. It strikes me that maybe that's simpler, therefore it's an easier strategy to use. Facebook's got a bit of an issue currently in the UK. That's all.
No, it's worldwide, Martin. In fact, before when we started, when we joined the call, we were actually talking about Cambridge Analytica. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. It does dent Facebook shares, and I'm sure they will fall in the number of users, but they're going to recover quickly because Facebook right now offers everything that all other social media sites put together offer. For example, you can upload your video, you can upload your text, you can actually upload your entire blog, whatever 500 words blog onto your post. You can you can go live on Facebook, which is huge. So here's what I think what will happen is you will see dwindling users, but it's not going to go out. They're too huge to go out. Number two, what I also feel is it is end of the day, it's up to the users how and what they're posting the data, how and what they're going to let what is posted affect you, right? So in case of Trump, I mean, it's almost like a political thing, but in case of Trump, the Steve Bannon, the guy who actually approached this guy who's a whistleblower, what they said was they wanted to create a psychological war. So what exactly is the psychological war? Is they're going to create messaging which can influence the user's choice. So the only thing as a user, what you can do is ensure that you create that much of space and not depend on the messaging to take your decision, right? Okay. But end of the day, it is a great site. That is why people are attracted to it, So looking at what you're going to post, looking at how you're going to, for example, in let's say Facebook is so convenient that most of the logins to other sites happen through Facebook, right? So if you have a Facebook account, you can actually play games, you can actually, do your shopping, you can actually log into Amazon using Facebook, a whole lot of things, right? So when you are using Facebook for multiple options or, to handle multiple sites, what you can do is how much of information are you feeding into your account? That becomes more important. For example, there was a couple of years ago, there was this huge case of some people getting robbed because they are posting where they are on Facebook. Like, I'm at this airport and I'm out of the country, I'm in this location. So it's entirely up to that particular person and his privacy settings on what they can share. But I think if you're looking at privacy settings carefully, and if you go through each and everything and you control them, so like, for example, if you are on my page, you will only see my post, you will not see my friends' post, which is ideal. If you don't have any privacy, you can actually see friends of friends of friends posting on my page. Number one. Number two, you can put your account one side and the other side is your official pages. So you can use a page which is a business page, and you can have a group which is your community. So there you can only transact business related information. There you're only doing your work. You don't have to even post where you are, what you're doing, nothing. There's no need for you to give any information to Facebook. Just just look at only from the business standpoint. That's what I'm saying. So there can be a whole 1 hour session on what you can do on Facebook, but I'll not go there. So maybe we can do a one-to-one coaching on that.
I think it might be needed at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, but there, you can't miss it. So that's all I'm saying. And Cambridge will be a very minor dent on the huge numbers. People are dependent so much on that site. Okay, so coming back, is there any other question? No, okay. Coming back to the slide, I was mentioning that WhatsApp is an emerging trendsetter, and you can see the active number of WhatsApp users in India from August 2013 to now, last year, Feb 2017, and it's huge. Now, apparently there is also WhatsApp for Business. Now, I was not able to access it. I had to convert my account to business account for me to get any information related to business. So I couldn't do that. But if you guys have enough bandwidth, you can probably look up what WhatsApp for Business is. Apparently what happens is, in case if you are using WhatsApp for Business, you can actually get control of the analytics that are connected to your to the app. So if you're posting number of messages across to the contact list, how many people saw it and how many what is the engagement ratio, etc. Now I thought, in my mind, I thought that that is way too information that you're giving, which is considered to be a private channel. So I was I was not really, I didn't have enough information, so I didn't go and make my account, because I use a lot of personal messaging happening on WhatsApp, and I didn't want to change that. So that's why I didn't go there. But if you are having a separate phone, separate phone number which you can connect with WhatsApp for business, you may want to look at it. And I believe it is now growing. I met a couple of people who are already on WhatsApp businesses, and when you look at the beauty of it is you send them a message and you get a response saying, "Hi, I received your message. I'm not able to access right now. I'll be back with you or whatever time." It's like a messaging that comes back to you. So it's proper business. You can use it for business. So never to be missed, and WhatsApp needs to be considered in whatever way possible. Maybe a group. We already have a group, but then how active you are in the group also makes a difference in engaging with the end user or with your client. So yeah, not to be missed. Now I wanted to focus more on video, because video is the way forward. The statistics, the digital marketing statistics show the best way to engage a customer is through video, which is the reason why I am on YouTube. So these are a couple of statistics. 4 adults report watching YouTube, and the YouTube is basically from their mobile devices. Very, very convenient. And now YouTube had done so much more in terms of changing their policies, changing the privacy setting. So if you post any other person's video as your own, you will be immediately debarred. So there's a lot of stricter policies that have come up for, YouTube had made changes to their policies. These are a couple of things that you can actually see. The reason why the YouTube billionaires is because a lot of them are in the area of entertainment, and they are, so the top reasons why people watch YouTube is because they want to feel relaxed and they feel entertained. If you're able to merge your messaging with the entertainment factor, then I think you will be somebody that they look up to. Like messaging, it's like storytelling with the moral of the story or the message that you want to convey. 68% of YouTubers watch YouTube to make a purchase decision. This is so true. Lot of us, in fact, for me, even every single thing that I wanted to learn, even learning how do you really strategize your business on social media, I have picked it up from YouTubers. So how do I grow my business on YouTube? I picked it up from YouTubers. So there's so much of information there. However, what is important, when we will get to the strategy at that time, I will convey that. But 93% of marketers use video online marketing. And the beauty of it is it needs to be short. There is no hassle. It's direct, and the people feel connected to a person who's talking to them via the video. Any questions here? Okay. Silence is acceptance. So I will move on. So these are few unignorable stats. I'm not sure if that's even a word, but can't be missed. Social media is here to stay. Number one, it does have a diverse audience. So when we look at YouTube or when we look at WhatsApp, you have a diverse audience. You have Facebook Messenger, which also have a lot of people who are on Facebook but not active on Facebook, but they are active on Facebook Messenger. So that also becomes lot of kids I know are on Facebook Messenger, but they're not on actual Facebook active on their Facebook accounts. You also have increasing influencers. People who are on LinkedIn already know this. You have now, the word is not celebrity, it's influencers, Rajat. So increasing influencers on social media. You have the highest factor. So if you're able to create a proper messaging, you can actually reach out pretty quickly to cross section of society. So obviously, it's nowadays the viral videos is the new thing, but it's just one time thing. Video is the way forward. As I said, a lot of us have rely on convenience. Okay, so let me share you a story here. So when I publish videos on YouTube, what really happens is if I just leave it at that, nobody will just go there and look, right? So I need to promote it. So what I've realized is that if I have a bunch of them on WhatsApp, so most of you are getting my links. The reason I do that is because people can actually view it when they are comfortable or whatever time they're comfortable in. Expecting them to go back onto your YouTube and click select and watch is like not happening. So it is important that information is given to them, and that is what people are looking at. They don't want to go onto the YouTube platform, but if the same video is given to them via the WhatsApp, they love it and they immediately respond to me. Now the flip side of it is that I don't have analytics. It doesn't go, YouTube cannot recognize it. They only know the viewer. But if somebody is replying to me and saying that this is good or this has helped me, it doesn't critic. So that is the only flip side. But 68% of my viewers are from WhatsApp. That is my case. AI and voice search, Siri, Echo, they're all coming. And of course, now there is also the hashtag element that is important, where using the hashtag, you can actually search into the social media and get what you want. So that is also important on social media. So social media is entirely on hashtags. If whatever you're searching is on hashtags, so what kind of information you are giving, plus how do people find that information becomes extremely important. So that AI and voice search becomes easier, or they can pick those words out from that, from the number of, whatever the list of information that is available on social media already. Any questions so far? Yes, no, maybe.
Soaking it in, all of it.
Yeah, but Arvind, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Can't
me?
hear you. No.
I have a poor connection. I hope you can hear me. A quick question I want to ask is, somewhere in between in the slides you mentioned, there is coaching happening in WhatsApp. I was kind of wondering if the numbers that you have actually showed here are with respect to the coaching specific, or is this general numbers that people are actually using?
Yeah, it's general numbers. It's not coaching
it's
specific.
General numbers, right? General numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can
So
you talk more about that coaching piece on WhatsApp that
yes.
you spoke about?
So it actually happened to me also. A person whom I wanted coaching actually approached me, and she was so, vulnerable. She was so vulnerable to actually speak out. So she said, "Let us chat."
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had, had an entire conversation on chat. Right? She didn't want to, because she was in a terrible pain. Okay, so that was a revelation to me that this also happens. But the entire, I think about 1.5 hours, we were just chatting. So she was pouring out. So I had texts coming up, like crazy. But I'm not sure whether that is helpful or not helpful, because I don't know the status, but she felt better. So that sort of got me thinking that this is a fantastic thing to do, because especially, there's so much of space that in case if you're confused, you can still go back and check what the person has said. You can frame your proper sentence, because you can go back, your question can be proper because you can go back and check what she's written, which is what happened to me. There was nothing to hurry, because so I had went back and read it again and trying to understand her situation. That happened one time. So I'm sure it can be leveraged. Now, when I said it can, another way of it happening is WhatsApp calls. Not many people are on Zoom. So I had few WhatsApp calls. I had few WhatsApp video calls. So that's why I said, you can use it. But messaging, how you can use WhatsApp for business and messaging, I need to look further. I need to, sort of experiment or work on it. I don't know that as yet.
Sure. And a very common question with respect to the texting process that you used is, how did you manage the tone?
So I don't know.
I was about to ask that. Yeah. Thank you, Arvind.
I don't know how it was interpreted, Arvind. Seriously, I don't know that. So what I only know is that I formed a question, right? And you obviously we try and avoid the whys, isn't it? So we just use a what question.
Right.
There's always, you know, where as you text it. So this is how it I feel. Okay, when someone is texting you, or on your window they're texting, you can see that on the top saying typing, right? The person is typing, right? Have you noticed that? Right. So it means that you are you are on that chat. It's not like you're away. You are on the chat.
Right.
So it is only after you send will the message go. So if you are forming a question and you feel that question is not appropriate, you can go back and change the question while you're on the window. So your active listening part, it sort of clearly communicates to that person that you're typing something.
Okay.
Right? But how are they interpreting that is something that I don't know how they will. But the time that I used, the person was very, very happy. So like I said, you know, I just put A and I was like thinking, I went back and I reread. I just had an A mentioned in that window, but it shows that I am typing. My cursor is still active and I can scroll down from the screen. Another important, another thing that I have tried, not in coaching, but in other areas, is that you have a WhatsApp for web, right? So what I've done is that if suppose I'm on a call with somebody and I need to access data from some other chat window, I can actually open it on my laptop and access the same amount of chat there, but the call will continue. Did you get that?
Yeah. Where you're actually using two devices, you are connecting with WhatsApp web. You're using in one device and you're actually doing a chatting, but you're also able to check the messages in the same process.
Yes. So I'm actually using the same account in two different devices, and it works.
Right, multiple devices. Multiple devices. Got that. So the chat continues, but you can still go back and check what you're actually speaking.
Correct. But I've not used it in coaching, like I said. So the only time, like I said, I felt that I need to be there for the person, and I ensured that the cursor was on in that window. So it shows that I'm typing, and which I'm thinking or assuming that the person is knows that I'm here. She knows that I'm not gone away from there. And then comes the question. So,
Got that.
It's something that that's what. Sure. So I'm sure there are various ways we can explore. Yeah. Okay. So I don't have to.
If you allow, I just want. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to add something on the question when Arvind asked about the tonality thing on the messaging. I had a chat coaching with a friend of mine. So I experienced this. Maybe when you were talking with your coachee, she was so vulnerable. She was in a pouring mode. So it didn't matter. But in my case, I asked one question. So it was interpreted in a different way. So I had to clear it up in the next question. No, I meant that. So it becomes difficult on chatting to understand what is the interpretation by the coachee.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yeah. So, but then that avenue is available to us. So in fact, you can look at it this way. So you posted a message, and then there is a response saying, "What do you mean?" or whatever, right? So you can rephrase it. What I mean is this.
Yeah, of course. But we have to be careful while forming a question on that. Exactly. That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
So, like I said, that is taken care of when you are typing, and then the person knows you're still typing.
Yeah.
So that sort of
is still typing. Yeah.
Playing on their psyche, but
Yeah. Got it. So thank you.
Two very well-known people. I don't have to say anything, but all I wanted to do is just post their picture, and these guys have been using social media like crazy. So if you like their pages, both Marshall Goldsmith on the executive side and Tony Robbins on the life coaching side, you are bombarded with information. And a lot of times that information is repeat. So it's not like they are creating something new. It is something that they are repurposing. And but then what is important is that they are branding themselves. Like, for example, in Marshall Goldsmith's case, it's that light green colors, and in Tony Robbins, it's like dark blue colors, turquoise. That's what this guy is in. And the branding is in such a way, it's like how Coca-Cola is, or how any other brand is, like same coloring across platforms. So you go to his Twitter account, which is what is here on the left side, this one, and Facebook page is that. And if you like it, you are bombarded with notifications. That's all I can say. I actually followed him and unfollowed him because there were too much of notifications in my end. So these are the two very, very well-known coaches, I'm sure. So moving on, let us look at platforms. Again, it's something that you already are aware: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Insta, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp. Now, while you know what their primary functions are, it's important to understand what is their limitations. So in case of Twitter, there is a limitation that you can actually, if there's too much of, or you don't create your message properly, it can be considered as spam, and it will just dissolve in the number of messages that come across. Again, follower dropout is so, high in case of Twitter. So you don't message, or you don't use your Twitter account, you don't tweet at any point, your follower numbers will drop. Facebook, there is no such problem. Once they start following, they sort of, even if there is no great activity from your end, you do once in a week also, you still have people there, but the engagement factor will go down if it is not. The flip side is that it is not SEO friendly, in which case whatever that is inside of Facebook will not be searched outside. So you cannot, the Google searches cannot pick it up. So it's not SEO friendly. YouTube, can't say much. I absolutely love YouTube, but there is a limit to the traffic. If you are, the ultimate thing is that you want to direct your customer or your client back to your website. So that is the flip side of it, because usually when people are on YouTube, the native app, what happens is they start binge watching. So they watch your video, they may watch all your videos at one go, or they may just look at the recommended videos on, say, one topic, and they see all the other recommended videos, they may just go out of your account. So that is the flip side of it. Very, very slow growth, organic followers. So the only thing that if you are on YouTube you have to follow is consistent posting. Declare yourself, create accountability, and have a consistent posting, and only that can give you an organic growth, which is actually a good thing, because organic growth is basically somebody who is really interested and he's subscribing to you. It's not like a viral video that you have like no views for all your videos, but one view is like 1 million views. So sorry, one video has 1 million views. So it's not like that. So if you actually plan, there are a lot of YouTubers who help you grow your own business on YouTube. So if you're interested, I can actually share that to you offline, the accounts which actually help you grow your YouTube channel. Okay. And Instagram, very key in terms of messaging that goes. A lot of life coaches are on Instagram. In fact, the messages that gets posted on Instagram are all quotes. They're all quotes, most of it. And so it's easy to navigate, but I should also tell you this, that rarest of the rare things, that I got someone connect with me on Instagram and they like me, and that person is following me and eventually joined my Facebook group. So I find that progress, I find that very, I was very excited when that happened, because I am on Instagram continuously, and I usually post my travel stuff over there. But I started posting quotes based on what I am, the video that is going to come out, and that actually helped me a lot. So good set of people. Even the millennia is on Instagram, by the way. So LinkedIn, restricted reach. It's only to the professional community. Now I think a lot of people are, what I see on my page is that a lot of people are now relaxing the professional part and are also sharing some videos, which actually made me also share my videos. Otherwise, earlier I was very apprehensive of sharing what I'm teaching on, on LinkedIn. So that is LinkedIn. And of course, WhatsApp, intrusion to privacy. People may not want you to click there. So that is the flip side of it. Any questions on this? Hello? Okay. I will move on. So if there are no questions, I'll go into strategy. Should I go to strategy? We've got like 10 minutes, I know, but.
So Aparna, Rajat here.
Yes. Yes.
I'm wondering, how does a coach work through this whole thing? So while our audience here is mostly coaches.
Yes,
right?
I'm coming back in the strategy. That's covered in the strategy.
Sure. So I understand that. Yeah, so I understand coaching as a business, but it's basically also about when you are not comfortable with social media. And most of the coaches
Right.
typically are not, because they're very apprehensive of speaking out, right? In that case, is there a place that they can start with first, which doesn't feel too outwardly, right? And then start posting there. That platform is much more sort of, closer, and then not really blasting it out there, and then move on to slightly more places. So is that something that can?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So for us to do that, Rajat, it is important that people understand why do they want to be on Facebook, on social media, right? What is the audience? So that is exactly what I mentioned in this, that who's the audience that you want to tap. If it is the age group, then depending on the age group, you can select the platform. It's not necessary you need to be on everything, right? So if you know your why, then you can actually create, like, for example, if you are apprehensive in talking, if blogging is your thing, right? So you can use, of course you can use LinkedIn, but eventually you can post the blog like how you're doing, post it on your website and link that website to multiple channels. It could be Twitter, it could be so it is just one single content that you're creating, but you're using the same link and posting it across your other platforms that you're interested in being. But for that, you need to understand who's your audience. It's very important. So if your age group is between 35 to 50, for example, which is the right platform to get through for is something that I can tell you. Like for me, my age group is 35 to 50.
My question is slightly different. My question is slightly not about the audience, about me as a person. Who am I? And what am I comfortable with? So if people, and most of the people are not comfortable getting onto social media at all. So my question is more on what's the easiest social media platform to get into, which doesn't sound too terrible to me to get into. It's not that I'm not scared of getting into that platform. What would the first one to get into?
So LinkedIn, obviously, because that's more professional.
Okay.
You don't have a issue of people following you and not following you when you're not there.
Okay.
And you can also connect it back to your website, which is a must in this case, especially if you want to build it as a brand, build yourself as a brand.
Okay.
So LinkedIn is not in your face.
Okay. That helps. So,
but you've seen what the statistics said.
I understand that. I completely understand. I'm more worried about people getting used to social media first. Right.
So LinkedIn is the best. Yeah. LinkedIn is best because it's not in your face. But again, connection. I am not very, for example, when I tried doing only on LinkedIn, it didn't work for me.
Fair point. So it did not convert. It did not convert
exactly.
for you.
I did not convert.
Correct. So I'm not looking at it as a business concept. I'm looking at it as saying, how do I, and there are a lot of people out here who don't like being out there.
Okay.
right? For them to just start experimenting with social media, and as you said, LinkedIn might be the first one because there are not many immediate kind of responses that come to you, right? You can exist for some time on LinkedIn and nothing, earth will not shatter around you. And then you can slowly move on to the other platform where it makes sense to be there for business.
Actually, if you see that way, earth will not shatter in any of the sites.
That's
like
how
even
you
on Twitter.
Think. I understand that. That's how you think. That's not how I think as a person. For me, just to put out my thought, believing, and that's most of the people's challenge. Why do people want to hear my thought at all? Why do they care? Am I going to be relevant to the people who read this? And what will be the kind of responses that I'll hear? Most of the time, that is the fear inside people, and that's where they don't publish.
Right. So there are two things, Rajat. LinkedIn is something that obviously, like I said, it is not in your face. Now, if you are also struggling in terms of creating content itself, right? You cannot create content right away, or you have writer's block, for example. Then the other way to do it is on Twitter.
Okay.
Again, it's what your purpose is, right? So you just want to attempt it. Nothing is in your face as long as you don't create that hype around you. So if you feel like, okay, I want a steady followers, but I want to be relevant, yet I want to create my group who are liking what I post and follow me for what I post, then even Twitter is good for that. Which is just a sentence, a quote that you may share. You may just share quotes every day, which is there out there. You just have to Google a quote, which, nowadays you have, like, you want to talk about coaching, you have number of coaching quotes that come up. Copy paste. Right? But you can always build it even on Twitter. Right? And same thing on Instagram as well. You can use images and post the same images and credit somebody who's created that image. It's not your own thing. But you can also create like that. It's not in your face. Actually, neither is Facebook, but Facebook has got a lot of bad slack, so I will not say that.
Sure, fair enough. Thank you.
Right. So, so this is what I said, that it's important before you get onto any social media network. This is what you need to look at. I'll quickly skip through this because we have 5 minutes left. So a strategy it worked for me. This is what it is, and I will quickly share with you how this works. So where is the platform of your choice? What is your message? When do you want to post? How frequently are you interested in posting? What is your strategy around getting the content, whether it is your own or your externally sourced? Now, externally sourced, when I come down to tools, I'll talk about how you can source external content. But this is prima facie the larger information that you need to create for yourself, saying, what do I post? Where do I post? How frequently I post, and what is the source, right? So what I'm going to share, please don't hate me for this, but I'm sharing my social media strategy here. I am on a lot of platforms, as you know, and this is how I deal with it. So YouTube is where I create my own content, and I have a source, which is a list of topics I have created for myself. Now, same script that I write for my video gets published as a blog on my website. Right, slight modification, it gets published on my website. Again, that's a list of topics. Now I have 2 LinkedIn pages. One is my personal, of course, my profile, as well as my official, my company page I have. So what I do is information that I am posting on my website and my video gets posted or repurposed on LinkedIn pages. What I post on my official page, I share it on my profile. So I am connected there. Now, the content that I create in YouTube gets posted on my Facebook page, which is a link to the article, a link to the YouTube video, and the same gets posted on Twitter official account. And the quotes that I write up in my blog gets posted on Instagram, it gets posted on Twitter. So there is a lot of repurposing happening, but I'm only creating content one time. So that is what I wanted to sort of ensure to tell you, that it is just one single thing, but that single article of yours can go in multiple places. So here in LinkedIn profile here, what I have mentioned here is in the how, I mentioned Flipboard magazine's cross post, right? Now what I have done is I interlinked all my websites. So if I post it on, say for example, the moment my YouTube gets published, that information goes on to my official account and it gets posted on my Twitter. I don't do it manually. I just created something around it, right? Flipboard is something that it is a news site, a news feed site. Somebody messaged. A news feed site which can give you a lot of information in your area. So you can actually subscribe to a news which is related to coaching, and you'll get all coaching related articles there, which you can copy paste even on your LinkedIn, or you're just basically sharing that link. But what is happening is you are basically engaging with the customers or clients or people who are connected with you. So they see your company's web, logo or your name or your face coming again and again in their news feeds. That is important, right? So I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the messages. So I'll quickly move on. If there's no question here, I'll just move on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is what I said, cross-posting. So if people who are overwhelmed with social media, this is what you can do. Pick up one original source and create a lot of shared sources. So this is what I do. I create a video, I already said this, and I share it across. So if you ever go and follow my messaging, it is the same everywhere. There's no difference, right? Same thing. So I create the blog and that blog post is shared. Now, if you see, I have like 7 days continuously message of one day that I've created, right? So how do you do that? I will come to that just a bit when I talk on tools. I'll just quickly run. Can I go ahead? I mean, it's 8:30, right?
Go ahead, Aparna.
Yeah, so that's about cross posting. This is the ideal length of the video. I will skip it very quickly. 3 minutes YouTube, which is what which gets more popular, are 3 minutes. 22 minutes if you want to launch a podcast, 18 minutes for a TED talk, and 6 minutes for a slideshare. This is the average ideal length that has been, I picked it up during my research. Quickly, so these are the tools. I use Viva Video, which is basically a free app that you can download and you can use. It's a mobile app. You can create videos out of that. Videorama is another tool. Viva Video has a limit, like they have their watermark, so you subscribe and pay one time $250. You get that watermark removed, so that's good to go. For creatives, posters, brochures, posts that you may want, Canva is a fantastic app. I actually thought that if we had time, I would actually demonstrate what Canva is. But Canva is a fantastic app where you can create all your creatives. It's amazing. Please check it out. It's canva.com. Typorama is another place where you can create text on top, overlaying on top of an image. Now, this is more important, social schedulers. This is what I frequently use. Crowdfire, Postcron, and Hootsuite. What I basically do is that, like I was showing you in the previous one, that I create content one time. I schedule the content in these schedulers to be posted at a particular time that I want. So every Monday it goes on to Instagram, every Tuesday it goes on to LinkedIn. Like that, I've created a schedule around it. Now, what I've also created, I'm not sure if you guys are able to look at me, watch me. So I actually created, can you see?
Yes. So we can't see much on that page because it's too small.
No, that's okay. That's okay. What I'm trying to say is that I've actually write this down like this and I schedule it saying what is going when. So it's not a hassle for me rest of the week. I'm not on it rest of the week. I'm just on it for like half a day. That's it. So that's what I wanted to say. It's not as crazy as it looks. All right. So that's it. Any questions? Do you have any questions? I can stop now. This is pretty straightforward. How do you stay different? USP, targeted audience. What is the pain area you're addressing? That becomes very, very important. Why would anybody follow you? Why would anybody converse with you? So that, what is the message? What is your message doing? becomes very important for them to come back and engage with you. And also creating a personalized brand kit, very important, that you, like what we seen in Marshall Goldsmith and Tony Robbins websites, they're just like same messaging everywhere. And that brand kit can be created from Canva. So you just have to upload your own logo there. So freebies, now email list is something that people swear by. Now email list is important because that list is something that people are actually signing up for. So so that could be a potential client. So people who are subscribing to your email list, in terms of you sending them a communication, maybe a newsletter, or maybe just your post can be actually fed into you can cross post what information you are posting. Say on your blog can be cross posted onto your email, to your email list, is also important. I mean, that can also work. And of course you have to respond to followers. If you're on social media, one of the primary things is that if people communicate with you, you should be patient enough to respond to them. Otherwise you'll just lose track. You have to, that's important. So that's all. I wanted to say conquer the social media world, but I thought of it at the last. Hello?
Thank you, Aparna. That's a lovely presentation. Thanks.
You're welcome. I hope it helps. I hope people are not overwhelmed with it.
People like me will always be overwhelmed by session. So, but thank you so much, Aparna, for doing this. It was indeed amazing presentation and a lot of things to sort of absorb in itself. And I think people will start reaching out to you now individually more, trying to figure it out with your help.
Yes.
Yeah. So soon you'll have a consulting role in social media. we are creating new business opportunities out here. So go ahead, charge them.
Of course. Okay. All right, guys, beware. Right. But I mean, seriously, guys, think about it. I don't want to, my issue was, I know that I shared a lot of information, and I was very apprehensive sharing my Excel sheet there, because that I don't want people to go like that. But it's not very difficult. It's just proper planning, and I can help you plan yourself. It's not a problem at all. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Priya is already on YouTube. I don't know if anybody knows. She's already creating YouTube videos.
Yeah, Priya is everywhere.
I'm not telling you.
Priya is everywhere. She tweets, she retweets, she does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Right.
It's just that today she doesn't want to talk to us.
She doesn't want to show her face.
She doesn't want to talk to us. She said she'll be on mute.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
right.
Good. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you. I'll be uploading the video on YouTube and sharing the link. This will be unlisted as a video, not available to public domains. So,
right.
You know that, Priya, that this all chat will be visible as well on the video on YouTube, right?
Does it?
No.
No, it won't.
Oh, she's writing I'm in a 90 in bed, so all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, good. Okay,
great.
See you guys.
Great talking to you guys.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Yes, you too.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.
Don't get onto Facebook much.
That's